How I let my girlfriend cheat in peace while I prepared to erase her from my life. They say betrayal starts with a sentence that sounds harmless. For me, it was Tuesday, November 5th, 9:17 p.m., when Emerson texted, "Running late post-campaign drinks with the team." I didn't think twice. She worked in marketing. Late nights came with the territory, but for the first time in a long time, something inside me pinched a tiny, quiet fear I couldn't name. I told myself it was nothing. When she walked through the door at 11:43, something was different. A new perfume, a brighter laugh, a phone that stayed face down. "Everything okay?" I asked casually. "Of course," she said, kicking off her heels. "You worry too much." Maybe I did, or maybe I was the only one still paying attention. She disappeared into the shower, humming. Her phone buzzed once. The name that flashed across the screen was Ryder G. No last name, just an initial. My first instinct wasn't anger, it was curiosity. But beneath the curiosity was a brief, unwanted sting. She hadn't worn the silver bracelet I gave her for our anniversary in weeks. The one she used to never take off. Small detail, big message. I didn't touch the phone. I just opened my laptop, created a new document, and titled it Timeline. One line. Nov. 5th, 9:17 p.m. Post-campaign drinks. New perfume. New name. Ryder G. Bracelet still missing. As I typed, a memory flickered her laughing at midnight on our balcony last summer, barefoot, hair messy, telling me she'd never felt happier with anyone than with me. I believed her then. That version of her felt far away now. Then I closed the laptop and went to bed beside her. Steady breath, calm heartbeat, because when someone thinks you're too quiet to notice, they never see the moment you start collecting proof. The following week, everything looked normal, at least on the surface. Emerson made her usual morning smoothie, posted her number grind never stop stories, and kissed me goodbye like a woman with nothing to hide. But silence has its own rhythm. I started hearing patterns instead of excuses. Her late meetings happened every Tuesday and Thursday. Her Uber receipts, which I'd set up billing alerts for months ago when we merged expenses, showed rides home from downtown, nowhere near her office. One night, I checked the timestamp. 11:38 p.m. Pickup from Hotel Lyric, the same address I'd seen on a previous expense report. I didn't confront her. Instead, I built the evidence like an analyst would a case. Slowly, cleanly, without emotion. My timeline file grew. Nov 12th, 11:38 p.m. Uber, from Hotel Lyric. Expense noted as team dinner. Every detail mattered. When Emerson got home that night, she smelled faintly of expensive cologne, not mine. "Rough day?" I asked. She smiled. "You have no idea." I did. I just didn't let her see it. The more she lied, the calmer I became. Anger makes people sloppy. Stillness keeps them guessing. And I wanted her guessing for a long time. Lena Beck didn't mean to get involved. She was just catching up over coffee when she mentioned it. Em says the new creative director's a genius. Right or something? I smiled politely. Grant? Lena nodded. Yeah, that's him. She said they work late together. He's funny. Keeps her laughing. My stomach didn't twist. My pulse didn't change. I just took a sip of coffee and said, "Sounds like a great teammate." That night, Emerson came home at 10:56 p.m. Cheeks flushed. Eyes bright. She said she was exhausted, then spent 20 minutes scrolling through her phone, smiling at something she didn't show me. Minutes later, her Instagram story popped up on my screen. A half-empty glass of red wine and a blurred figure in the background. Male. Familiar. I zoomed in on the reflection in the bar mirror behind her. A wrist with an intricate geometric tattoo. The same one I'd seen in Ryder Grant's public photos when I'd looked him up after Lena's comment. I screenshotted it, saved it to my locked folder, logged another entry. People underestimate quiet men, but silence has perfect recall. I bought a small external hard drive the next day. It wasn't paranoia. It was preparation. Emails, call logs, screenshots neatly sorted. I wasn't building a case against her out of spite. I was simply collecting truth in a world full of performance. That evening, I did something I'd been avoiding. I looked up Ryder Grant more carefully. LinkedIn showed he was married 3 years, according to a wedding anniversary post from his wife's public Facebook. The photo showed them on a beach, his arm around her, the same geometric tattoo visible. I saved the image, added it to the folder. The next weekend, while Emerson showered, I glanced at her open purse on the dresser. A folded receipt peeked out Hotel Lyric again. $118. 2 drinks, 1 dessert. 10:21 p.m. The merchant name matched a charge I'd seen come through our shared billing alerts. She'd used her corporate card. When she walked out, I handed her the receipt like I'd just found lint. "You dropped this." She smiled, slipped it away. "Oh, that's old." I nodded. "Sure." That night, I didn't sleep. I started separating joint finances. My paycheck, my savings, my peace, each one got its own account. Nolan Pierce, my attorney friend, helped with the logistics. He asked, "You ready to end it?" "Not yet," I said. "I want her to think she's safe first. Because peace hits hardest when they never see it coming." By mid-December, Emerson's distance was visible even in her perfume. She'd switched to something floral, lighter, flirtier. When she got a call, she walked into another room. During dinner one night, her phone buzzed face up. The message preview read, "Ryder, same room tomorrow?" She flipped it fast. "Work thing." I just smiled. Of course. That night, I backed up everything to the hard drive. Photos, receipts, texts, labeled and dated. Then, I went to the leasing portal. Our apartment lease had both our names, but I'd been the primary account holder and sole income qualifier when we'd signed 2 years ago. Nolan had already confirmed. With a 30-day buyout clause and her secondary status, I could legally transfer it to my name only with proper notice. I drafted the transfer request. By the time she'd text goodnight to someone else, my paperwork was submitted. Revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it just quietly signs documents. Ava noticed the shift before anyone. "You're different," she said over coffee. Quieter, but settled. I told her everything. She didn't gasp she'd suspected for weeks, she admitted. She'd seen Emerson at a wine bar downtown with some guy with tattoos, but hadn't wanted to say anything without proof. "Don't destroy her, Landon," Ava said quietly. "Just make it impossible for her to destroy you again." That became my rule. So I cooked breakfast, smiled for her Instagram stories, and pretended everything was fine while redirecting automatic payments, changing passwords, and removing her access to my accounts. She thought I was passive. But calmness isn't weakness, it's focus. And I was focused on freedom. Emerson announced her team retreat at a cabin outside the city. "Limited cell service," she said. "It's for creative bonding." I kissed her goodbye at 8:12 a.m. Friday. As soon as she left, I packed 2 suitcases, the hard drive, and 1 folder labeled Final Steps. By noon, Nolan had everything processed. Lease transfer approved, bank separation complete, property split documented. I didn't need to stay in the old apartment for it to legally remain mine. Ava helped me move my essentials to a furnished apartment downtown overlooking the river. That night, I slept soundly for the first time in months. Sometimes the cleanest revenge is peace you don't have to explain. Saturday, 2:14 p.m., Emerson texted, "Miss you meetings are so boring without you." Attached was a photo coffee cup, notebook, blurred background. I zoomed in. In the cafe window's reflection, Ryder Grant. I smiled at the screen. She'd said, "Limited cell service, not none at all." Limited service didn't mean no service, just spotty enough for her to be careless. But the fact that she'd risk texting me while sitting across from him showed exactly how safe she thought she was. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded Nolan a message. Execute lease change, effective immediately. That evening, I turned off my phone and went for a run along the river. Distance had never felt lighter. I'd finally let myself detach. Sunday night, Emerson returned home glowing. Retreat was great. We brainstormed till midnight. Must have been productive, I said. She laughed too loudly. You're so serious, Landon. I smiled. Maybe. That night, she leaned in to kiss me. I turned my head slightly. She froze the first time she'd felt my absence while I was still in the room. The thing about pretending not to know is that eventually, silence becomes punishment. For a brief moment, I felt it not anger, but something closer to grief. Grief for the version of us that used to exist. Then I let it pass. She had no idea the storm at her office was coming. Monday morning, Nolan texted. All finalized. She's off the lease. Your name only. Buyout processed. 30-day notice delivered via certified mail as backup. That evening, I left an envelope on the dining table. Emerson came home, heels clicking, and saw it. What's this? She asked. Read it, I said, calm as ever. Inside. Separation of finances. Lease confirmation showing my sole ownership, and a formal 30-day notice to vacate. The apartment was legally mine now, even though I no longer lived there. Her face strained. You're kidding. I smiled faintly. You should have known I don't play games. She stood there, speechless. For the first time, I enjoyed the silence. Then she noticed something else in the envelope. A small jewelry box. Inside, the silver anniversary bracelet. You can keep it, I said quietly. Or not. Doesn't matter to me anymore. Her hand trembled as she closed the box. Her reaction wasn't about the bracelet itself, it was about what it represented. She texted all night. We can fix this. You can't just erase me. Landon, please. I made mistakes. I read every message, responded to none. At 1:03 a.m., she called. I declined. Again at 1:05, declined. By sunrise, the messages stopped. I brewed coffee, opened the blinds, and realized peace doesn't come when they apologize, it comes when you no longer need to hear it. A week later, Lena texted me. You didn't hear from me, but Ryder's wife found out. He's out of the company. Emerson's a wreck. I stared at the message for a moment before replying. I wish her healing, and I meant it. Some lessons don't need punishment, just absence. A month later, I saw her outside my office building. She must have remembered I'd mentioned the location once, or maybe she'd been trying different buildings downtown, hoping to run into me. She looked smaller somehow, eyes swollen, hands trembling. Landon, she whispered. I didn't think you'd actually leave. I adjusted my tie, met her eyes. That's the problem, Em. You never thought I could. Then I walked inside. No anger, no satisfaction, just finality. She wasn't part of my story anymore. My new apartment overlooked the river. I filled it with calm books, plants, music that didn't remind me of anyone. I switched from our old coffee brand to something new. Small changes that felt like reclamation. Ava visited often. You seem lighter, she said. I smiled. Because peace doesn't require proof. She nodded. And she'll never understand how you beat her without fighting. Good, I said. That's the point. 3 months later, I got a final text. I miss how safe I felt with you. I read it once, then deleted it. I didn't block her. I didn't reply. Some endings don't need punctuation, just distance. I stepped onto my balcony, the one facing the river, and for a moment, the winter air carried a faint trace of the same floral perfume she'd switched to back in December. The scent didn't hurt anymore. It felt like a warning I'd survived. Funny how Tuesdays are quiet now. No late meetings, no excuses, no timelines to update. People think revenge means destruction. For me, it meant reconstruction. She thought I didn't know. I always did. I just waited until it was too late for her to fix it.